In the beginning, there was nothing. No light, no sound, no time. And yet, there was Mahadev. But where did the great god come from? While the Puranas tell tales of his manifestations, the ultimate mystery lies in his name, Aja, the unborn.
Okay, close your eyes for just a second. I want you to imagine absolute nothingness. I mean, before the cosmos even took its very first breath, before a single star ignited, there was just this profound silence. Today on The Explainer, we're embarking on a journey to decode what is arguably the greatest cosmic paradox of Lord Shiva, Mahadev. How can a being exist entirely without a beginning and completely without an end? Well, let's find out.
In the beginning, there was nothing. No light, no sound, no time. And yet, there was Mahadev. But where did the great god come from? While the Puranas tell tales of his manifestations, the ultimate mystery lies in his name, Aja, the unborn.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap. First, the mystery of the unborn. Then, the infinite pillar of fire. Manifestation versus mortal birth. Tandava, the cosmic dance. And finally, symbols of the eternal cycle. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the mystery of the unborn. So what does it actually mean to be a deity utterly without a beginning or an end? You know, for the human brain, which is totally wired to think in straight timelines of birth and death, this is a massive paradigm shift. It really comes down to two powerful concepts: Aja, meaning the unborn, and Swayambhu, meaning self-manifested. In Hindu philosophy, specifically if you look through the profound lens of Advaita Vedanta, Shiva isn't just a powerful entity hanging out in some distant heaven. He is a non-dual reality. This basically means he represents a singular, formless consciousness where all opposites just merge. Light and dark, creation and destruction, time and eternity, they literally all collapse into one. Therefore, he exists completely beyond the biological boundaries of life and death. I mean, you can't really be born if you exist outside of time itself, right? Moving right along to Section 2, the infinite pillar of fire. To really wrap our heads around this abstract idea of being beginningless, we can look at this brilliant mythological clue from the ancient Linga Purana. The legend tells us that Brahma, the creator, and Vishnu, the preserver, were locked in this incredibly heated debate over who was truly the supreme being. To settle it, an unimaginable, sudden pillar of luminous fire erupted right between them, so they set off on these epic journeys. Brahma transformed into a swan and flew relentlessly upwards, totally desperate to find the very top of this fiery pillar. Meanwhile, Vishnu took the form of a mighty boar and dove deep into the cosmic depths, trying to locate its absolute bottom. For thousands of years they searched, up and down endlessly. And yet, no luck. They both ultimately had to concede that the pillar had absolutely no start and no finish.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the term lingudbhava, which literally means the emergence of the linga. At the exact moment Brahma and Vishnu threw their hands up and admitted defeat, Lord Shiva emerged from within this infinite flame. He wasn't born from a seed or a parent. No, he emerged as the ultimate, eternal reality that always was and always will be. This defining moment where Shiva declared his eternal, beginningless nature, that is the very event celebrated to this day as Mahashivaratri.
Section 3, Manifestation versus Mortal Birth.
So, pivoting from the vast imagery of a cosmic pillar, we arrive at a pretty deep philosophical paradox. Think about it. If Mahadev wasn't born in any biological sense, if he has no parents, no DNA, literally no origin point, how exactly did he appear in all the physical forms that the ancient Puranas describe?
Well, the Vishnu Purana actually gives us a fascinating narrative to answer this. Just picture the universe entirely submerged in primordial cosmic waters. Lord Vishnu is resting and Brahma emerges from a lotus flower. Suddenly, seemingly out of thin air, a divine child appears, only to vanish just as instantly. It's kind of jarring. When a very confused Brahma asks about this, Vishnu reveals that this child is Shiva. You see, this wasn't an ordinary birth. It was a spontaneous manifestation, a display of divine play, known as Leela. He doesn't enter the world through biology. He simply chooses to become visible, as Swayambhu. It's a manifestation of presence, not a commencement of life.
That brings us to Section 4, Tandava, the cosmic dance.
This is where Shiva's unborn, undying nature takes on a really dynamic physical representation. We can break down the Tandava into two primary forms. First, the Ananda Tandava, the blissful dance. This aspect represents the generation and sustaining of life. It's the absolute pulse of creation. Second, the Rudra Tandava, the fierce aspect. This represents dissolution, the destructive force that clears away the old just to make room for the new. The crucial takeaway here is that these are not opposing forces at war. Not at all. They are perfectly balanced, complementary actions of a single, continuous cosmic system.
And honestly, here is where ancient philosophy totally shakes hands with modern physics. In quantum mechanics, the universe is seen as a highly dynamic system, where subatomic particles are constantly forming and dissolving. Matter and energy are locked in this perpetual cycle of creation and annihilation. It mirrors Shiva's Tandava so flawlessly that there's actually a famous statue of Shiva as Nataraja, the cosmic dancer, proudly installed at the CERN headquarters in Switzerland, which is the world's leading particle physics laboratory. How cool is that?
And this brilliantly illustrates just how resonant this ancient archetype remains today. If you look at recent research data, it shows a staggering 95% relevance connecting Shiva's Tandava symbolism directly to the concepts of quantum physics. The idea of an unborn energy that simply dances between form and formlessness isn't just a beautiful myth, guys. It's pretty much the fundamental operating framework of our physical universe.
Let's wrap up with Section 5, Symbols of the Eternal Cycle.
Okay, let's shrink our focus from the massive macro universe all the way down to the micro level to examine his tangible personal symbols. First up, we have the Damru, his iconic hourglass-shaped drum. It produces the primal sound of creation, Om. But really look at the physical shape of it. It expands out, collapses into a narrow center point, and then expands again. It visually signifies the continuous expansion and collapse of the universe itself. It perfectly mimics a heartbeat or a quantum wave function, just constantly rising, falling, and transforming in a steady, unbroken rhythm of cosmic energy. Next is the crescent moon adorning Shiva's matted hair. Astronomically, it represents the waxing and waning phases of existence, the sheer cyclical nature of time. But on a deeper psychological level, the moon signifies the human mind, which, as we all know, is always fluctuating, always changing. By holding the crescent moon steady on his head, Shiva represents the ultimate balance. He embodies a profound calmness and a state of no-mindedness that remains completely centered, even when surrounded by the absolute chaos of the cosmos. So the crucial point is this: energy is never created nor destroyed. It merely transforms. From the formless, non-dual consciousness of Advaita Vedanta straight through to the fundamental laws of thermodynamics, Mahadev represents the ultimate embodiment of this reality. He is Aja, the unborn, because you literally cannot birth energy, and he is the endless, because you simply cannot destroy it. Which leaves us with one final, deeply provocative thought to close out our explainer today. If the universe is just an eternal dance of energy that is never truly born and never truly dies, and if we are made of that exact same atomic energy, are we also a part of the unborn? Think about that next time you look up at the night sky. Thank you so much for diving into the profound depths of the source material with me today. Keep questioning, keep seeking structure in the chaos, and I'll see you for the next explainer.